Welcome to the fourth episode of Brass Unpacked. Today, we take you on a journey to meet a true lone wolf, a man torn from his homeland by the world wars, yet who never stopped dedicating his life to preserving and sharing the musical heritage of his country. In 2014, British composer Simon Dobson paid tribute to him with Journey of the Lone Wolf, a three-movement work tracing the life of Bela Bartok. From his childhood in Hungary, steeped in the sounds of folk traditions, to his exile, a wound that would never truly heal. The piece bursts to life in a whirlwind of sound, chaotic, exuberant, and unrestrained. It's a musical echo of Bartok's turbulent childhood. Until the age of 6, he lived in isolation, cut off from other children, battling a string of illnesses that would leave their mark on his earliest years. Before long, Bartok immersed himself in the world of piano and composition. By the age of just 9, his first works were already coming to life. After entering the Royal Academy of Music in Budapest, he was still under 25 when he crossed paths with Zoltán Kodály, a young composer and linguist who shared the same burning passion. Together, they embarked on an adventure that would shape their lives, collecting and preserving the folk music of their homeland. Much like Percy Grainger did in England and Denmark, Bartok roamed the villages of Hungary and Romania, recording hundreds of traditional songs and melodies onto wax cylinders. In doing so, they became pioneers of ethnomusicology. The first movement, capturing the peasant's song, pays tribute to that mission. It opens with a duet of euphoniums, soon joined by baritone, solo alto horn, and flugelhorn, as if inviting us to step into the very heart of the folk traditions he cherished so deeply. Driven forward by the trombones, the music takes on an almost frenetic energy, unleashing flashes of folk-inspired themes with irregular rhythms, a swirling whirlwind straight from the Hungarian countryside. At the heart of this first movement lies a sweeping dance, passing the spotlight between the solo euphonium and the principal cornet. Here, the musician's dazzling agility and nimble fingers take the place of the dancers Bartok once observed in the heart of Transylvania. Then, the music shifts in tone. Simon Dobson weaves in a subtle nod to the second movement of Music for Strings, Percussion, and Celesta, one of Bartok's most celebrated masterpieces. We then hear a reimagined duet, bringing together the E-flat cornet and the solo alto horn. They echo the musical mechanics of Bartok's Romanian folk dances, in particular that famous folk dance where a belt tied around the waist punctuates the dancer's every move. The deliberately exaggerated rubato, so characteristic of this tradition, becomes one of Simon Dobson's primary sources of inspiration here. The first movement closes on a darker note. The outbreak of the First World War plunges Hungary into chaos, abruptly cutting short Bartók's work of collecting folk music. Bartók held a deep reverence for nature, art, and science. Among his musical hallmarks are his famous night music pieces, works that evoke a strange, haunting soundscape filled with whispers of the nocturnal world. These slow, brooding movements reflect the solitude and melancholy of a man wrestling with his own inner turmoil. In the second movement, Night Music, a flugelhorn solo brings this musical vision to life. To escape the horrors of the Second World War, Bartók went into exile in the United States. In the second movement, Night Music, Simon Dobson revisits this theme, noting that his own version of night music is free jazz in the spirit of John Coltrane. It's a musical wink that comes alive in the trombone solo that follows, conjuring the sounds Bartók may well have encountered during his restless New York nights. Since childhood, Bartók had always lived on the margins, preferring solitude to social ties. Yet, three women left a profound mark on his life: his mother and later Marta and Dita, the two partners who shared his journey. In the music, a romantic voice, full of tenderness, passes from euphonium to flugelhorn, and then to cornet, as if offering a musical tribute to these three great loves. A staunch opponent of fascism, Bartók was forced to leave the land he so deeply loved. From the moment he departed in 1940 until his death in 1945, he never set foot in his homeland again. The third movement, Flight and Fight, captures both his enduring connection to folk themes and the shadow that hung over a man uprooted, torn away from his nation. In the United States, Bartók struggled to survive. Financial hardship at times forced him to turn to friends and family for help, especially as he battled the leukemia that would ultimately claim his life. In the music, a cold, solitary theme emerges, an echo of this quiet, relentless struggle. Despite every reason he might have had to abandon composition, Bartók persevered. Until the very end, he kept writing, even working on his third piano concerto, dedicated to his wife Dita, when illness finally overtook him. A folk theme gradually rises to the forefront, swelling until it fills the entire ensemble and soars in a final, exultant flight. In this way, Bartók's legacy endures, that of a visionary ethnomusicologist who preserved and elevated the musical traditions of his people. The piece ends on a bitter note. A minor chord, carried by the toll of funeral bells, rings out like a final tribute. At his funeral, only 10 people were in attendance. Until the very end, Bartók remained the lone wolf.